Next, Town Manager Report, item 9.
Good evening. The most probably pressing item that I'll address is Francis Street. We received these complaints maybe about 6 weeks ago, and the Police Department Traffic Division has completed its study. They have 5 or 6 options, including various parking alterations, including no parking on one side of the street, the resident-only option. They've also asked for a zoning assessment, and there's also options for drawing a line around the adjoining streets, because as we know, if the 2 streets that immediately abut that business are affected, then people are going to look to park elsewhere. So they've taken a very global approach to this. I think that it would be appropriate to have the neighbors weigh in before the town manager's office makes a recommendation, because I think they're the ones that are living there. They should be the ones to have some say into what option is chosen. The assistant town manager and I met with the owners of Jimmy's Pub, which is newly renovated. They've done the inside over. There's the Pizza Pal, which is mostly, I guess, pickup and delivery that is adjacent to it. It is a very small footprint. So we did discuss with the owner some options for him in terms of trying to combat some of the impact on the residential neighborhood. And clearly, when you have that type of close adjacency with 2 different uses, there's always going to be these types of issues. They are fortunate that they have an arrangement with a neighboring business where they can park most of their employee cars, so that frees up a number of spots for patrons. But the other issue that we're concerned about is if people try to start parking across the street or on those streets that run off of the east side of Route 5, that crossing piece is very dangerous. So there's a whole bunch of different considerations, but at this point, since we've just now received the recommendations, I think it would probably be appropriate if we actually had a meeting within the neighborhood or have them come so that they could hear the different options and have a say. The one that I think is being recommended is going to appeal to some people, but not to everybody. So that's why I think that it would be the first step of what we should do.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of the motion for tonight, if the council does enact a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, I just wanted to say to the people who are still here that we would put something on the website and people would then be able to apply to serve on that commission. But until the council takes action, that committee is not listed. So maybe as part of whatever happens later on tonight in the agenda, we can spend a little bit of time talking about how people who are interested in being involved would actually do so. Because I think that that's one of those missing links in times communication-wise. People want to get involved, but they're not sure how. And the final piece is I did pass out, upon request, the latest ARPA funding allotment. There's been no changes since the last time I did this report, other than we have put in a placeholder amount of $50,000 for the grant writer. It is not to exceed that. We may actually employ several different grant writers based on different grants. There is a lot of money that is becoming available through the infrastructure bills that are flowing from the federal government to the state. So we are looking to actually hone certain applications for certain purposes. You heard tonight the water pollution control issues. We have infrastructure issues. There's a lot of opportunity. So that number has now brought us down to $808,602 in reserve. The Small Business Assistance Program launched officially on Saturday. We've already received a couple of applications and some questions. That will run through the month. And up next is the nonprofit assistance. I think that you should be prepared to think about the fact that we may exceed the amount of money that we've allocated in terms of the people who may want to participate in that program. East Hartford recently paused their business assistance through ARPA program because of the excessive number of applications received. So having a little bit of reserve is actually a good thing right now. On the second side, you will see that I penciled in in yellow highlighted the item that's on your agenda for later. And I put it there specifically because if you look at the item above it, the water pollution control pump station to be appropriated in fiscal year 24 for $468,000. I used it there because I thought it was appropriate for planned usage, because it's my opinion that, or I was told that it's the opinion of the council that they may want to marry the ARPA funding with a capital improvement fund for this project. So that's where, if that is successful tonight, we will pencil that in there for planned usage in conjunction with next year's budget. So that's where we are with all the projects listed.